What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. In today's military movie review, we're going to be reviewing Black Hawk Down from the year 2001. Before we get started, my name is Michael Inman and I'm an active duty military member in the United States military. So if you like military movie reviews, or if you just want to follow my journey or get some advice on, joining the military, feel free to explore the channel and hit subscribe if it's your type of content. Black Hawk Down is a movie about, well, not just one Black Hawk helicopter going down, but two Black Hawk helicopters going down. So let's give you some historical context on what's going on, when, and why it's a very, very kind of important, if not critically important, watch. It pertains to the Battle of Mogadishu, which is going on in Somalia. And this battle, the Battle of Mogadishu, occurs in 1993. That is the context or setting prior to this mission, which had a number of failures occur during the Battle of Mogadishu in Somalia. Pretty much the mission of note is a unit of US soldiers are supposed to take out someone. That takeout is supposed to occur in a very urban environment. So think of it like a small city. And so that city has regions that are neutral or amicable to US forces, and it also has regions that are hostile to US forces. Of course, this situation or this meeting, that's supposed to happen in the more hostile sector of the city. So the movie is the story of what things played into this military failure, like what factors were involved that may have in aggregate led to the helicopters going down and US personnel being lost during this combat. So the reason this film is really important is because the film is structured like a case study, and it's because the Black Hawk Down film, and of course the actual mission in 1993, it was studied to a incredible amount because the US military and Department of Defense presumably wanted to know what are the different things that maybe if not one thing caused the failure, it was small to medium things, but multiple of them in aggregate leading to Black Hawk Down. Let's talk about some mistakes or oversights that I caught while watching the movie. Again, it's very useful for training your eye to go, wait, maybe I shouldn't do this, or maybe this could be a bad call because maybe it looks like a small little decision or small little oversight. But if there's multiple things going wrong today, it could all add up to a very big disaster. So it teaches you to think like that. So let's talk about some of those mistakes or oversights. One of them was a new unit leader. So before this specific mission took place, and the actual unit that, went about this mission, they had gone on other patrols, they had gone on other missions, so they weren't all new. But a couple things were different, and let's go into what those things are. So there was a new unit leader. I forget the details, so free to watch the movie on what removed the default leader from that role, but just know a new person was in the spot of leading the team. The next thing that was a factor involved were that there were new members. So new people had just gotten to this base in Somalia. They were integrating into the team, but they were integrating like on this mission, like they had just got there, and then they were tapped to roll out on this combat mission when they had just gotten to Somalia. So not to say you cannot have missions in which someone has just joined the team, but again, think of this as a discussion on all of these factors coming together is what most likely caused the meltdown and the disaster of this mission. So we've talked about a new unit leader, we've talked about new members being thrown into the group. This is the next thing we're going to discuss. Last minute group replacements. So not just a new person to the base being thrown into combat, like, hey, welcome to Somalia, throw your bag over there, by the way, tomorrow we're running a mission, pay attention, you'll be fine. But also switching out people. So let's say someone's been in Somalia or someone's been at a base for a while, but they usually work with Group A. This factor involved would be if someone from Group A is thrown into working with Group B just randomly. Again, these things are allowed and are not huge deals for highly trained people, I assume, but when all of these things are happening at the same time, it possibly can increase the chance of things going wrong because there's less group cohesion, less comfortability. Another element that caused the Black Hawk Down incident, according to how the movie was shot and other research that was done, would be political pressures. That means if there are pressures from higher headquarters or from the Department of Defense, or really higher pressures from any institution that are saying we need to see action, or we need progress to be made, or you need to prove your worth, any kind of pressures on lower echelons or lower groups on the totem pole, when those pressures get high, it can sometimes lead to irrational or illogical decisions being made, or decisions being rushed, or plans being rushed in order to see progress. And so that was something that was shown in the movie, that the people who were greenlighting this mission and making decisions on the risk assessment, like, is this a very risky mission, or is it in the area of we'll be fine? The people making those decisions were receiving and feeling pressure from DC at this time, and that also led to a mission being greenlit that probably should not have been greenlit. Finally, 3 things that I noticed. I don't know if it was explicitly, or not explicitly, I don't know if it was obviously, handed to the viewers, but just when I look at some of the things I've been taught during my military career for things that should be considered. The first is operational security. So operational security just means, hey, let's be mindful of what we're doing as to not just make it super easy for anyone who wants to cause you harm to do that. So an example of OPSEC failure, not necessarily failure, but a less than optimal decision, would be the mission being greenlit to take place, or approved to take place, in daylight. Now, if you're going into a hostile part of the town, so an urban environment that is hostile, you should, as a mission planner, let's say it's your future job, you should say to yourself, well, wonder if anything goes wrong. If anything goes wrong, are we in an area that we can quickly control the situation and be extracted? Well, you're in a hostile part of town, so that's not great. Well, if something goes wrong, is it at least discreet? No, it's daytime, so it's not discreet at all. Next, operational risk management. It just means, hey, be mindful of your team and how everyone's doing. So, easy example, if you work on a group of 6 that works very well, and hey, you guys do missions well together, you may be a little tired because you played video games last night, which may be fine if the other 5 members are very well rested. But wonder if you played video games, someone else is going through stress because of divorce, and someone else couldn't sleep because they have insomnia. Really, if you add all those factors together, y'all aren't great. But each of the things individually doesn't seem like a big deal. That's ORM. So this team did not have great their operational risk management, ORM score, if you want to call it a score, was way too high. There were too many new members. There were too many people that were not trained and comfortable in the mission set. So many things were adding together to cause an issue. And finally, a big issue, especially if you do reading on the Black Hawk Down incident, the rules of engagement constraints were pretty high. So in layman's terms, not to get too much in the weeds, it just means if you are in a tough situation as a unit, but you also are being told by your supervisors and their supervisors, you will not even put your finger near that trigger if you are not actively being fired upon. Now that's just an example, but the example makes the point clear of, oh, wait, that would make you seriously in trouble or in jeopardy and danger, because you're always going to have to be reacting. There's no preemptive, there's no real self-defense moment. It's just, if you can be surrounded by people who clearly have your harm in mind, but if they have not pulled any triggers, if they could be aiming at you, if they've not done anything actively to engage you, yep, nope, sorry, your hands are tied. That is an example of the rules of engagement being highly constrained for the operator. Those are the factors that popped out to me as what in aggregate, or when added all together and mixed in a bowl, led to the Black Hawk Down incident. This is not a discussion of that incident. This is a movie review. So please go watch the movie. You will also see how the director and the screenwriting sprinkled in those elements through different shots and different dialogue. So hopefully you will observe that, add it to your, collection of things you think about when you are in the military, or if you are just, you just like military movies, make sure to notice those things that were hinted at via the writing of the film. Watch the film. Watch the film. There are some movies that everyone should watch, especially people who are in the military or, in industries adjacent to the military. Black Hawk Down is one of those movies. I hope you enjoyed this movie review. I look forward to seeing you soon. If you liked this, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn the notification bell to on. Also, if you do want to see a little bit more of my face, you can see me on Instagram at Michael Inman _. Until I see you again, have a great rest of your day. And until next time, bye.